All right, Shalom. I want to say all praises to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahawashi Bahasham, Rakak Wadash, and double honors to the apostles that rule well, the great millstone, peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel, to you I say Shalom, peace and blessings. All right, and want to go into the different acts of Yahawashi, the different miracles being performed by him. All right, a lot of people were healed by Yahawashi. All right, so it's going to be the first video of this series that I'm trying to do through the Spirit, going into the different acts of Yahawashi. All right, and also I want to do a series, all right, with the different apostles, all right, the different acts of the apostles, because healings and the performing of miracles were done not only by Yahawashi, but also it was done by the apostles as well. All right, so I want to make that a series as well. So, and this is the first series of the acts of Yahawashi, and I want to start off in the book of Mark, chapter 5, verse 1. Pretty much, I'm going to read the whole chapter. This is verse 1. And it came over unto the other side of the sea, into the country of the Gadarenes. And when he was come out of the ship, immediately there met him out of tombs a man with an unclean spirit. It says, who had his dwelling among the tombs, and no man could bind him, no, not with chains, because that he had been often bound with fetters and chains, and the chains had been plucked asunder by him, and the fetters broken in pieces, neither could any man tame him. And always night and day he was in the mountains, and in the tombs crying and cutting himself with stones. So this man had, left-hand spirits on him. This man was being tormented by spirits. This is trying to pull up the blue letter real quick. This is verse 5. And always night and day he was in the mountains, and in the tombs crying and cutting himself with stones. But when he saw Yahawashi afar off, he ran and worshipped him, and cried with a loud voice and said, what have I to do with thee, Yahawashi, thou son of the Most High power? I adjure thee by the Most High, that thou torment me not. For he said unto him, come out of the man, thou unclean spirit. And he asked him, what is thy name? Pull up Mark chapter 5, in the blue letter. It says, and he asked him, what is thy name? And he answered, saying, my name is Legion, for we are many. This is the NLT version of Mark chapter 5, verse 9. Then Yahawashi demanded, what is your name? And he replied, my name is Legion, because there are many of us inside this man. Many of what? Many of unclean spirits. Unclean spirit. Just want to look up this word real quick. look up that word legion in the Google, it says a unit of 3,000 through 6,000 men in the ancient Roman army. It also says a vast host, multitude, or number of people or things. It says in great in number, legion. We are many. So it was many of unclean spirits inside that man. That's why he was cutting himself. He had the plague of the mind as well. I'm gonna bring that out. He was being plagued by those unclean spirits. This is Mark chapter 5, verse 10. And he besought him much that he would not send them away out of the country. Now there was nigh unto the mountains a great herd of swine feeding, and all the devils besought him, saying, Send us into the swine, that we may enter into them. And forthwith Yahawashi gave them leave, and the unclean spirits went out and entered into the swine, and the herd ran violently down a steep place into the sea. They were about 2,000, or choked in the sea. And they that fed the swine fled and told it in the city and in the country, and they went out to see what it was that was done. And they come to Yahawashi and see him that was possessed with the devil and had the legion sitting in a cloth and in his right mind, and they were afraid. He was in his right mind. So let's look up that word demon in the etymology. And it goes into an evil spirit, supernatural being. All right. And it goes into intelligent. All right. So these different spirits, demon and demonic spirits, are very intelligent. And to combat those evil spirits, man, we need to pray to Yahweh by Hashem Yahawashi. All right, we gotta pray to Yahweh by Hashem Yahawashi in truth and sincerity to combat these different demons, because these different it's left hand spirits out here. You know, go into that scripture: we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against the principalities. All right, the rulers of this world. All right, roughly paraphrasing. Let's keep on reading. This is Mark chapter 5. Verse 15. And they come to Yahawashi and see him that was possessed with the devil, and had the legion sitting in cloth, and in his right mind, and they were afraid. Right? And it says, and they saw that, and they that saw it told them how it befell to him that was possessed with the devil, and also concerning the swine. So I want to bring out this scripture in the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 25. This is verse 13. Give me any plague but the plague of the heart, that's talking about the mind, and any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman. So, you know, this man here, Legion, his name, right? That's what the spirits told Yahawashi. This man was possessed. He had the plague of the mind. That's why it says, what, in verse 15, and in his right mind. They were afraid. Verse 17, and they began to pray him to depart out of their coast. And when he was coming to the ship, he that had been possessed with the devil prayed him that he might be with him. Howbeit Yahawashi suffered him not, but said unto him, go home to thy friends and tell them how great things the Lord hath done for thee, and hath had compassion on thee. And he departed and began to publish in the Decapolis how great things Yahawashi had done for him. And all men did marvel. And when Yahawashi was passed over again by ship unto the other side, much people gathered unto him, and he was nigh unto the sea. And behold, there cometh one of the rulers of the synagogue, Jairus by name. And when he saw him, he fell at his feet. He fell at his feet. And it says, and besought him greatly, saying, my little daughter lieth at the point of death. I pray thee, come and lay thy hands on her, that she may be healed, and she shall live. All right, so yeah, the purpose of going through these, the purpose for this series, is to go through the different stories that Yahawashi and the apostles, were in, and to read the stories and to see the miracles being done by Yahawashi and the apostles, so that our faith can be built up. All right, because the things that were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we may have comfort in the scriptures and hope. All right, so we read about different people being healed by the apostles and Yahawashi. That's a faith booster, because we go through different infirmities in these last days. We go through different afflictions and different sicknesses and different diseases. So we read these different stories that took place, and it comfort our hearts, it comfort our spirit. So that's the purpose of this series. So this is Mark chapter 5. And that word Jairus, his name means whom God enlightens, whom power enlightens, whom the Most High enlightens. It says a ruler of a synagogue, probably near the western shore of the Sea of Galilee. Yep. All right, keep reading on. This is Mark chapter 5, verse 23. And besought him greatly, saying, my little daughter lieth at the point of death. I pray thee, come and lay thy hands on her, that she may be healed, and she shall live. Verse 24, and Yahawashi went with him, and much people followed him, and thronged him. And a certain woman, which had an issue of blood 12 years, and had suffered many things of many physicians, and had spent all that she had, and was nothing better, but rather grew worse, when she had heard of Yahawashi when she had heard of Yahawashi, came in to press behind and touched his garment. For she said, if I may touch but his clothes, I shall be whole. And straightway the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of that plague. Wow, that's a beautiful story, man. She had an issue for 12 years, and the physicians tried to make her better, but she actually grew worse. So she had faith. This woman had faith here. It says, verse 30, and Yahawashi, immediately knowing in himself that virtue had gone out of him, turned him about in the press, and said, Who touched my clothes? And his disciples said unto him, Thou seest the multitude thronging me, and sayest thou, Who touched me? And he looked round about to see her that had done this thing. But the woman, fearing and trembling, knowing what was done in her, came and fell down before him and told him all the truth. And he said unto her, Daughter, thy faith hath made thee whole. Go in peace, and be whole of thy plague. This is Yahawashi speaking right here. He said, Daughter, thy faith hath made thee whole. While he yet spake, there came from the ruler of the synagogue's house certain which said, Thy daughter is dead. Why troublest thou the master any further? As soon as Yahawashi heard the word that was spoken, he saith unto the ruler of the synagogue, Be not afraid, only believe. So Yahawashi said this to the ruler of the synagogue. Yahawashi is saying the same thing to us in these times. He's saying what? Be not afraid, only believe. Only trust in Yahweh by Hashem Yahawashi. Only believe. With the Most High, all things are possible. With men, it may seem impossible, but with the Most High, all things are possible. Keep reading, it says, And he suffered no man to follow him, save Peter and James and John, the brother of James. And he cometh to the house. Yahawashi had 12 disciples, but his top main three disciples, he was really, around most of the time, is Peter, James, and John. Verse 38, And he cometh to the house of the ruler of the synagogue, and seeth the tumult, and them that wept and wailed greatly. And when he was come in, he said unto them, Why make ye this ado, and weep? The damsel is not dead, but sleepeth. And they laughed him to scorn. But when he had put them all out, he taketh the father and the mother of the damsel, and them that were with him, and entereth in where the damsel was lying. Verse 40 says, And they laughed him to scorn. They laughed him to scorn, so Yahawashi had to put them out. Alright? We're living in some serious times. We really have to show our faith. They laughing and stuff like that. Laughing him to scorn. Mocking them. Alright? We can't have no people like that around us, man. Some serious times that we're living in. This is verse 41. And he took the damsel by the hand and said unto her, Talitha kumai, which is being interpreted, Damsel, I say unto thee, arise. And straightway the damsel arose and walked, for she was of the age of 12 years. And they were astonished with great astonishment. And he charged them straitly that no man should know it, and commanded that something should be given her to eat. So they were astonished with great astonishment. Right. When people see miracles, they get astonished. They'd be amazed by a miracle being performed, especially in the name of Yahweh Shema Shai. Alright. And in these last days, the men of the Lord will perform different miracles through the spirit of Yahweh by Hashem Yahawashi. A lot of brothers and sisters and children will be healed from their diseases, plague, whatever that's troubling them. Just know Yahweh by Hashem Yahawashi will heal all of us at the end of the day. We just have to believe and have faith and trust in Yahweh, the supreme being, through Yahawashi, the only begotten, the Messiah. So we really have to hold on to our faith and believe and read these different stories, man. because these different stories comfort our spirits. All right, Yahawashi said in the book of John, I believe, John 14, John 14, verse 11, believe me that I am in the Father, and the Father in me, or else believe me from the very works' sake. All right, Yahawashi did many works. Verse 12, verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do, shall he do also, and greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. So we live in a time of what? Miracles going to be performed on a major scale, which, different miracles and different acts of healings be happening in the body in today's time. Right now it happens, but on a large scale, like people witnessing the miracles being performed and being astonished, that's going to happen. All right, so with that, all praises to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahawashi by Hashem Rachakodash, double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone that do rule well and teach well, and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. To you, I say shalom.